Imagine a trade route so fast it cuts an entire 7 to 8 days off shipping times, bypassing thousands of kilometers of Russian-controlled railways. That's exactly what China is building right now. The 486-kilometer China-Kyrgyzstan-Uzbekistan Railway, or CKU, is an $8 billion mega-project that's on track to turn the allied Chinese Dragon and Russian Bear into potentially conflicting economies. Russia's influence in Europe is holding up as well as a skyscraper in a hurricane. So China is stepping in to extend its Belt and Road Initiative by eliminating 900 kilometers of existing routes to give it direct access to Europe and no longer having to rely on Moscow. But will Moscow let its trade dominance slip away so easily? Let's find out. China moves more goods than any country on Earth, but getting those products from its factories to European markets has always been a logistical nightmare. The traditional shipping route through the South China Sea, past the Malacca Strait, across the Indian Ocean, and through the Suez Canal is slow, expensive, and vulnerable to disruptions. Just ask anyone who remembers the Ever Given blocking the canal in 2021. On the other hand, land routes through Russia offer a faster alternative, but they come with political risks, high transit costs, and growing tensions with the West. That leaves China with a problem: how to move massive amounts of trade efficiently while reducing dependence on routes it can't fully control. The solution? An $8 billion China-Kyrgyzstan-Uzbekistan CKU railway set to begin construction in July 2025 with high-speed freight corridor that will slice through Central Asia, completely bypassing Russia. Transit times will drop by a full week, making Chinese products arrive faster, cheaper, and with fewer geopolitical headaches. Such plans were solidified on June 6, 2024, when an intergovernmental agreement was signed to commence the railway's construction. This event was notably attended via video link by Chinese President Xi Jinping, Kyrgyzstan's President Sadir Japarov, and Uzbekistan's President Shavkat Mirziyoyev, underscoring the project's importance at the highest levels of leadership.
中基乌铁路是中国同中亚互联互通的战略性项目，是三国共建“一带一路”合作的标志性工程。
President Xi highlighted that the signing of the trilateral intergovernmental agreement provides a solid legal foundation for the project's construction, marking its transition from vision to reality. Why is this so important? Because China is no longer willing to let Russia control its trade routes, and Beijing will have an independent overland supply chain that Moscow can't touch. It also boosts China's influence in Central Asia, pulling countries like Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan deeper into its economic orbit. For Vladimir Putin and the Russians, this hurts more than being hit by a wrecking ball at full swing. So what does the 486-kilometer CKU railway look like? The start line begins at Kashgar in China's Xinjiang region, which serves as major rail hub for the entire country, allowing goods and passengers to travel further east toward places like Lanzhou, Beijing, and Shanghai. From Kashgar, it will make its way to Jalalabad in Kyrgyzstan, which for centuries has served as one of Silk Road's main trading posts and is a vital corridor for merchants, pilgrims, and travelers. From Jalalabad, the railway will cross over into Uzbekistan to the great and historical city Andijan. Having this railway connected to Undermine is vital for many reasons, but one game changer will be China's ability to trade more effectively with the country Afghanistan using a 75-kilometer railway that was built back in 2011, connecting Termez in Uzbekistan and Mazar-i-Sharif in Afghanistan. With plans to extend this railway from Mazar-i-Sharif to Kabul and then to Peshawar, Pakistan, this will effectively bring Afghanistan and Pakistan into China's vast Belt and Road Initiative. But back to Andijan. From Andijan, the gateway to Europe and other parts of the Middle East is now open, unlocking multiple trade pathways. One option takes goods southwest through Turkmenistan and Iran, reaching the Persian Gulf and Gulf of Oman for direct shipping to the Middle East. Another pathway moves westward through Turkmenistan to Azerbaijan and Georgia, linking to Black Sea ports for shipment into Europe. This 486-kilometer railway from Kashgar in China to Jalalabad in Kyrgyzstan might not sound like a massive distance, but its impact is enormous. With a vast interconnected network connecting East and Central Asia, the Middle East, and then Europe, this new Silk Road Railway will prevent more delays than a major airport on a foggy morning. But until our Silk Road Railway is built, how exactly does cargo reach Europe? Chinese cargo heading to Europe by rail has to take a long detour north through Kazakhstan and Russia, adding unnecessary time, costs, and geopolitical risks. With the CKU railway, China cuts straight through Central Asia, skipping Russian territory entirely. The entire China to Europe route is now 900 kilometers shorter than existing overland options, and delivery times drop by 7 to 8 days. That's the equivalent of shaving an entire work week off global supply chains, a serious advantage for Chinese manufacturers. But this isn't just about speed, it's about control. Right now, China depends heavily on the Russian-dominated northern rail corridors, especially the Trans-Siberian Railway and the Middle Corridor through Kazakhstan. Those routes are reliable, but they come with problems. Russia's war in Ukraine has led to sanctions, disrupted supply chains, and made Western companies hesitant to rely on Moscow-controlled routes. For Russia and Vladimir Putin, the president in recent years has not publicly commented on the CKU railway project. Historically, Russia had reservations about China's Belt and Road Initiative in Central Asia, viewing it as an encroachment into its traditional sphere of influence. However, recent developments indicate a shift in Russia's stance. In 2022, Kyrgyzstan's President Sadyr Japarov noted that President Putin had agreed to the construction of the CKU railway, signaling a move from opposition to passive support. By creating the CKU railway, China reduces its vulnerability, ensuring that no geopolitical crisis can block its land-based trade routes to Europe. Here's another wild fact. The CKU railway will provide the first-ever railway connection between China and Kyrgyzstan. That's right. Despite being neighbors, China and Kyrgyzstan have never had a direct rail link. This project finally changes that, giving Kyrgyzstan a massive boost in trade opportunities. But wait, just because the CKU railway will have more precision than a Swiss railway timetable, don't think for a second Kazakhstan is taking this lightly. Kazakhstan's president, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, is wasting no time in upgrading sections of the 4,250 kilometers Trans-Caspian International Transport Route, TITR, also known as the Middle Corridor, which links Southeast Asia, China, Kazakhstan, crosses the Caspian Sea, and continues through Azerbaijan, Georgia, and Turkey before reaching European destinations. For decades, Kazakhstan was the only Central Asian country with a direct railway connection to China. But with the arrival of the CKU railway, Kazakhstan's trade corridor is under threat. Apart from the nation now having to compete against the new kids on the block, Kazakhstan's drive to upgrade their long-lasting network isn't out of fear, but an increase in demand. In 2022, the Middle Corridor railways experienced an 86% increase in traffic handling, approximately 3.2 million tons, and this was mostly a result of the sanctions placed on Russia by Western nations, which was then exacerbated by the outbreak of the Russian-Ukraine conflict. With all that being said, the scale of the CKU transformation is hard to overstate. Right now, shipping a container from China to Europe via the sea route through the Malacca Strait, Indian Ocean, and Suez Canal takes over 30 days. The CKU railway cuts that time almost in half. Even compared to the northern land routes, it's dramatically faster and more reliable. Think of it like this. If shipping times were a race, the old sea route is like running a marathon, while the CKU railway is like taking a high-speed train straight to the finish line. But some critics say that the China-Kyrgyzstan-Uzbekistan railway is a high-stakes gamble. On paper, it sounds like a game-changer, but in reality, it faces more hurdles than an Olympic track meet. The Tian Shan mountain range. Yep, that's right. This mountain range spans an enormous distance of over 2,800 kilometers across China, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, and Uzbekistan, with much of this range running right through where railway needs constructing. Over 41 tunnels, 81 bridges, and 18 stations will be developed to complete this project, all while dealing with frequent earthquakes, extreme weather, and steep mountain passes. The technical complexity alone makes this one of the most ambitious railway projects in the region. Although not confirmed yet, the 41 tunnels are likely to be constructed using China's tunnel boring machines, TBMs. And who knows, maybe China will seek to demonstrate its technological prowess by using its largest tunnel boring machine ever made, named Zhanghai, featuring a diameter of 54.4 feet and a 30% increase in tunneling efficiency. But the biggest challenge isn't the mountains, it's the money. The total project cost is estimated at $8 billion, with $4.7 billion allocated for the Kyrgyz section alone. That's more than half of Kyrgyzstan's GDP, which stands at just $9 billion. To fund its portion, Kyrgyzstan has taken out a $2.35 billion loan from China, raising serious concerns about falling into a debt trap. If Kyrgyzstan struggles to repay, Beijing could gain control over key infrastructure, something that has already happened in other Belt and Road Initiative (BRI) projects, like Sri Lanka's Hambantota port. Then there's security, which is another major issue. The railway runs through areas known for drug trafficking and smuggling, particularly the Golden Crescent, which is a hub for opium production in Afghanistan, Iran, and Pakistan. There are fears the new transport route could be exploited for illegal trade, human trafficking, and even the movement of extremist groups. China has been cracking down on separatist movements in Xinjiang, where the railway begins, and the last thing Beijing wants is a security threat along a major trade corridor. Even if everything goes according to plan, the gauge difference between China and Central Asia adds another layer of complexity. China's railway system operates on a standard gauge of 1,435 millimeters, while Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan use the wider 1,520 millimeter gauge, a legacy of the Soviet era. This means goods will need to be transferred to different train cars at the border, adding delays and costs. While automated bogie exchange systems or new transshipment hubs could help, it's another logistical hurdle that could slow things down. Despite these challenges, a groundbreaking ceremony began on December 27, 2024, attended by leaders from China, Kyrgyzstan, and Uzbekistan. If everything stays on track, the CKU railway is expected to be completed by 2029. Once operational, it will carry 10 to 12 million tons of cargo per year, giving Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan direct access to China and new markets in Europe and the Middle East. The stakes couldn't be higher. If successful, this railway will shift the balance of power in Central Asia, reducing Russia's grip on trade and strengthening China's economic dominance. But with billions on the line, political tensions rising, and extreme construction challenges ahead, the real question is, will the CKU railway deliver on its promises, or will it become another costly geopolitical gamble? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next videos.